Hello everyone, I know I've been gone, but I'm finally back and we're coming back strong. I'm still going to be absent for parts of August because I have to leave for 2.5 weeks for medical procedures, but I want you guys to know that I'm okay. I just had a lot going on, a lot to get through, but we're back. Let's get started. We're going to start back out with a highly requested case: the murder of Ben Renick. It's June 8th, 2017. A call is placed to 911 from a distraught wife. She has just found her husband face down in his snake facility, surrounded by blood. Officers arrive on the scene, convinced a snake had killed its caretaker. On the body cam footage, the officers are notably nervous and threaten to shoot any snake that might try to bite them, no matter the size. The coroner eventually makes it to the body, only to discover this man had no ordinary snake bite. Instead, he had been shot 8 times in the back, 1 shot up close. The victim is Ben Renick, renowned snake breeder located in New Florence, Missouri. Ben was born on August 4th, 1987, to Frank and Charlene Renick. He grew up with a fascination for snakes, ever since his first one when he was a young boy. Ben became quite successful in the snake breeding world, as he was able to breed rare patterns on snakes. His collection was so incredible that a large portion of it was to be sold to NHL goalie Robin Lehner for a sum of $1.2 million, paid out in installments of $200,000 over a year. In fact, Ben had received his first installment in February of 2017, with more to follow before his life was tragically cut short. Before he became a well-known and highly respected snake breeder, Ben lived a pretty average life. He lived on the same property his whole life, graduated high school in 2006, and met a girl named Lindley when they were both just teenagers, though nothing came of that at the time. He lost his mother in December of 2008, but I'm not sure what the cause was. It's unlisted. In 2010, Ben started his business, Renick Reptiles Incorporated. Then, in 2011, Ben met Lindley again, and sparks flew. Within the year, they had moved in together, along with Lindley's son. I'm not going to say his name, he's still a minor, you can look it up if you want, but there's really no point to having any of that information, it doesn't really matter. Who Ben raised as his own. In 2012, Ben arrived home to find his father, Frank Renick, deceased from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, after his father had been charged with mail fraud for allegedly selling fake stock to investors worth multi-millions. Ben went and got his brother Sam, who also lived on the same property, and the brothers helped each other through that tough time. The next few years passed as Ben and Lindley worked alongside each other to grow the business. Ben and Lindley were married in 2014 in a small ceremony with just family. Sam remembers it as a very special and beautiful event. The couple then had a daughter. The property that was inherited when their father died was 70 acres. So Ben and Sam lived on the same land but in separate houses, and they were able to raise their children together and continue to stay close. In 2016, the couple opened Essentia Spa in Columbia, Missouri, for Lindley. She had dreamed of owning her own spa ever since her time as a massage therapist. However, unlike Ben, Lindley began to run up debt and not pay for construction costs. 2 companies sued the spa in early 2017 for $8,000 in unpaid work that had been completed. Capital One also sued Lindley for just over $2,000 after she stopped making payments in June 2017. While the Capital One lawsuit came after Ben's death, he found out about the lawsuits against the spa and confronted Lindley through a Facebook message just hours before he was killed. The message reads, quote, "No more lying, no more keeping things from me, no more not paying people and thinking it's okay to pay later. End quote. Clearly, there were issues in the marriage. But Ben also owned snakes worth a lot of money, and his father had pissed off some very wealthy individuals who might want to seek revenge. Investigators questioned both Sam and Lindley separately, since they were at the scene when police arrived. Both agreed to a gunshot residue test and polygraph. When asked who might have wanted to kill Ben, Sam brought up the idea of a robbery gone wrong. Whether it was from people who knew how valuable the snakes were, or from people who were pissed off that they got scammed by his father. When Lindley was asked, she brought up Sam, stating that Ben wanted to sell the family property and Sam was upset by it since he lived on that same property. The gunshot residue test came back clear for both. Sam's theories were quickly ruled out, as no snakes had been stolen, and after he passed his polygraph, he was cleared from the suspect list. The police continued to question Lindley 6 different times during the investigation. While the investigation was ongoing, the reptile community collectively sold their reptiles and donated all of the proceeds, more than $40,000, to Lindley and her children. On her second interview with police, Lindley admitted to cheating on Ben with a man named Eric. Detectives cleared Eric and began to question Ashley Shaw, the manager of the spa the Renicks owned. She told the police about Lindley's other affair with a man named Brandon Blackwell. They had met on a dating site not long before Ben was murdered. 4 months into the investigation, Lindley was given that polygraph. When asked how she thought she did, she said, quote, "I think I did well." Quote, "Wrong, bitch. You failed that shit. Sorry, I've been trying to keep it together, but damn, she is pissing me off. She's so full of herself. She really thinks she's a great liar. I know polygraphs have issues, but the fact she thought she was able to trick it is just so fucking dumb. Like, that's always how criminals get caught. They think they're so much smarter than everyone, and then they just give themselves away. I mean, I'm not mad that they do it. I'm just like, you are the biggest fool in the room if you really thought you were that smooth." Anyway, back on track. Lindley was told she failed the lie detector and claimed she didn't know how she failed, but she didn't kill Ben. "Come on, guys, I might have failed my polygraph test. It looks super sus, but I didn't kill him." Okay, bitch. Sure. Detectives thought she may have had help from an old ex-boyfriend, Michael Humphrey, just out of prison, that she had contacted multiple times, including on the day of her husband's murder. Lindley stated he came to get massages. Sure, Missy, we know what kind of spa you're running. But investigators only stated that was still suspicious. However, since her gunshot residue test had come back negative, and there was no murder weapon, no witnesses, and no concrete proof, they had to let her go for 3 long years. But the thing with these type of people is that they will inevitably fuck up again. In the meantime, Lindley sold the family property for $740,000, closed her spa, and moved out of town, refusing to even speak with Sam or let the kids continue to talk to each other. Luckily, the life insurance policy was set up in a fund for the children, nearly $500,000 each, held in a trust until they turned 18, so she couldn't touch that money at least. A year and a half goes by, and Lindley has a 3rd child, this one with Brandon Blackwell. Time passes, and Lindley inevitably accuses him of being threatening, to which she got a protection order. By the way, you can get protection orders fairly easily. I think it was seen pretty easily in the Johnny Depp trial. Like, all you have to say is that it happened and that you're scared of your life, and then the judge makes a judgment call, and better safe than sorry. You know, like, it doesn't actually have to be true in order to get a protection order. Okay, so now that we've said all that, because I'm not sure if he did it or not, I don't know really what he did or what not he did, but none of that really even matters. Getting a protection order is not a sign of guilt from Brandon's part. Anyway, that's settled. Brandon gets charged with violating the order and stalking charges, but he denies everything. Again, I don't know if he's guilty. Not really the point. I don't really care. In order to get out of jail, and also because I think Lindley put him in there so he was ready to put her in jail as well, he tells detectives everything he knows about the murder of Ben. He stated that Lindley had told him of a protein shake she had spiked with 15 Percocets, obtained by spa manager Ashley, that Lindley had given to Ben weeks prior to his death in hopes it would kill him. When it did not, she began to plot another way to kill her husband. Apparently, she was worried with the wealth he had, he would get custody of the children, and she would get nothing if they were to divorce, since technically the business had been started before they had gotten married. So Lindley hit up her ex, Michael, and had him meet her at the spa. He had the gun, he had gloves, but when they arrived at the farm, he handed the gun to Lindley, saying she had to do it and he was not capable. So, she grabbed the gun, went into the facility, and shot Ben in the back 8 times. The father of her children. She looked at him, and not even for mercy of her children did she stop what she was doing. She willingly took her children's father away for no reason. Like, literally for greed. For greed. She decided to make her children grow up without a father for greed. Ugh. Like, I cannot understand the selfishness that people like this have inside of them. I could not imagine having children and not putting them first, not caring about them above all. I digressed. After gathering all of this information from Brandon, investigators arrest Ashley and basically say, sink with Lindley or swim by giving us info. Obviously, the type of person who would help somebody murder someone else and then keep it a secret would also be the type of person to turn on you if things went belly up. Ashley said Lindley had told her Ben was abusive, and that's why she helped. Well, gee, that makes it all okay then, right? Yeah, it's fine. Just be judge, jury, and executioner. Get no evidence, get no proof. Okay, yeah, no problem. Yep, just murder him. That's cool. Ashley told them about supplying the narcotics for the first murder attempt, and said that Lindley had first told her Michael had shot Ben. She said Lindley then changed her story a couple of days later, saying that Michael had handed her the gun and she walked right up and shot him with no problem at all. With all that evidence and Ashley willing to testify in exchange for immunity. What the fuck, immunity? Really? Really? Immunity? Immunity? You guys didn't even give her like a little charge? Like a little key? Like maybe like a year? Like no, okay, alright, okay. You do you. I mean, I guess. Anyway, the detectives arrested both Michael and Lindley. Michael's defense stated that he arrived on the farm to help Lindley bring up the topic of divorce and get her out of there if she needed help. The prosecution stated Michael had provided the weapon and thus helped in the killing. It took the jury only 5 hours to convict him of first-degree murder. After this, Michael turned on Lindley even more, striking a deal with prosecutors to give the location of the murder weapon in exchange for a second-degree murder charge with a sentence of life in prison. Lindley's defense was that she was merely asking for protection, and she didn't realize Michael had a gun until all of those shots rang out and she didn't know what to do, so she ran outside until Michael told her they had to go. Yeah, okay, bitch. The prosecution put Ashley on the stand to explain that when Lindley got back from the spa, it was for a scrub down. I'm sure to clean off all the gunshot residue, before going back to the farm to find her husband. She also told about the first attempt Lindley tried with the protein shake. Michael then got on the stand and told his version, that Lindley was standing in the corridor shooting Ben while he cowered in the truck. The defense put Lindley on the stand to tell the jury about the violence she claimed happened during the marriage. Okay, this bitch really gonna sit up here with a cross around her neck like she's some innocent Christian woman who, by the way, was just cheating on her husband with multiple men and not paying people for their labor like every good Christian woman, you know? Who got blindsided by her ex-boyfriend just randomly shooting her husband in the back. Yeah, right, come the fuck on. This jury pisses me off, and I'm gonna put that out there before I say what they gave her. They only convicted her of second-degree murder. How the fuck? She asked her ex to help kill her husband and her spa manager to give him a lethal protein shake. But yeah, okay, she definitely was just gonna bring up the divorce topic and definitely has not been planning it at all. I don't believe that for a second, and I'm ashamed of this jury. Like, what's wrong with you people? I guess good on Lindley for having amazing lawyers. Because the jury only sentenced this bitch. Only sentenced her to 13 years in prison. For murder. What the fuck? And then 3 years for armed criminal action. They could have given her life in prison. What is 16 years for a life? Sam made it clear in court that he doesn't believe justice was served because the sentence is so low. The judge was also annoyed and made her sentences run consecutively, so instead of 13, she got 16. And he said she was extremely lucky to get the sentence that she did. In Missouri, judges cannot add time to what a jury has said. So the judge said she got extremely lucky that she'll be out in her 40s. How'd she get out in her 40s when she kills Ben and he gets no fucking life? He doesn't get to live the rest of his life, but she gets out when she's 40 and she can just go on and live her fucking life. Like, really? I'm literally disgusted. I'm so appalled right now. Oh, I'm so mad. Lindley waived her right to appeal, probably because she got such a light sentence and she was like, holy shit, I don't want to mess this up at all. And is eligible for parole in 2035, which is only 13 years from now. She's already served 3 years. Final thoughts? Honestly, I'm fucking pissed. Our system is so broken, it's not even funny. How can you get 13 years for murder? How could the sentence be that low for a crime so heinous? Why don't we take the average lifespan and subtract it from age, and that will give you the years in prison based off of the years they could have lived? Obviously, there would have to be a minimum sentence so that people who killed the elderly wouldn't get away with it. Honestly, I feel if you murdered someone, not manslaughter, there has to be malice, you shouldn't get out of prison. But if there had to be a minimum, I would say 30 years, since most killers murder in their late 20s, so they wouldn't get out until they were almost 60. But just off of lifespans for men, in the US, Lindley should get 75, which is the life expectancy for men, minus 29, the age of Ben when she murdered him. So, in all, she should get 46 years in prison, because that's potentially how much time she took from him. That's what I believe is fair. We won't know how long he could have had because she murdered him. So because she took that risk, she should get those years. That's my feeling on it. Maybe she should have thought about that before killing him. Maybe she should have got a fucking divorce and not stole her fucking children's father from them. Also, what the fuck? How does she manipulate 3 other people to keep silent for years about her murdering him? Why ever agree to help kill someone else? Or keep it a secret for them? It doesn't even make sense. Ashley got off super easy, and I think the defense shining a spotlight on the deals given to Ashley and Michael might have been a contributing factor on why they went so lenient on Lindley. They've never said, so we can't know, but it's absurd. I will never understand why people are told about a murder and then don't go tell the police. Like, as soon as she told Brandon, why would you continue to go out with her? She killed her ex, and you are her new boyfriend. What happens when she gets tired of you? Luckily for you, she just got a protection order and put you in jail. But clearly, this woman only cares about getting her way and will lie, cheat, steal, and manipulate anyone she needs to in order to serve herself. It's gross, it's despicable, but she's got to be pretty damn good at it because she tricked the jury too. I'm seriously repulsed by this case. It's got a lot of people who could have prevented his death, one of which gets away with no time. I'm looking at you, Ashley. The murderer basically gets a slap on the fucking wrist, even though she did all that and sold the generational property out from under the surviving family members. Not to mention, she has his ashes and she won't give them back. It doesn't take a fucking genius to see why she killed him and what she got out of it. In the end, Sam sued, saying he owned part of the estate and he deserved a portion of the settlement. He received $18,000 of the $740,000 settlement. On a weird note, not quite related to the conviction, the NHL player was sued by Renick Reptiles for the remainder of the payments that hadn't been made on the snakes. He claimed that the snakes had lost value when no one was left to care for them and they had started inbreeding. The business countered, saying that an NHL player hired some people to get his snakes from the facility since the business was prevented from continuing the sale during the investigation of Ben's death. After that, a settlement between the two parties was reached to finalize the sale, but the amount remains undisclosed. Last thing, like Sam pointed out in his victim impact statement, Lindley is unforgivable for what she has put her children through. Killing their father just for money, effectively making them orphans for her own greed. Disgusting. She hasn't and likely won't ever return the cremated remains of Ben to his family. It's tragically ironic that with the thousands of snakes he owned, the snake in his bed was the one that ended up killing him. Damn, this case was rough. I'm not gonna lie, this case really had me in my feels. I was really very upset. I was upset by the fact that there were so many people that knew about it and didn't do anything to prevent his murder. I'm annoyed at the fact that Lindley was able to get up on the stand and manipulate the jury into only giving her 13 years. She clearly planned it. You have two people, like, I guess what I'm assuming is that the jury didn't find those people extremely credible, considering the fact that they got deals based off the information they were giving. So they took that information with a grain of salt. But it's so insulting to only give somebody 13 years for killing another human being. Like, I don't understand how that in any way seems okay or fair or just. Like and subscribe if you like this type of content. Thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, and I will see you guys all again as soon as I can. You guys are awesome. Thanks and have a wonderful day.